Hello, Mike. How you doing? Hello, Mike. Good. You had a question you emailed me about 30-second notes. What page was that in the 4-4 book? How you doing, Mike? Ross, how are you? I need a page, Mike. All right, everybody does have the PV at 33. Okay, let's go to 33. Okay, I'm a little confused here. On 33, you had mentioned 30-second notes. Well, there is no 30-second notes on page 33. So I'm a little bit confused there. Enlighten me. We had a question on how to count and how to play 30-second notes. Still, there's no 30 seconds on page 32. Are we in the 4-4 book, this one? '34. First time you come to 30-second notes, Mike, is page 35. Well, anyway, page 34, there are no 30-second notes. On page 35, there's 30-second notes. Okay. It's the laws of math. Quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my pulse. Now, if I want to play eighth notes to that pulse, I need to get two strokes in between that equally. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we're going to forget about the triplet. We're going to go to 16th notes. Page 34. 31 down. Oh, I'm sorry. Whoa. I apologize. On page 34, line 3. We'll get to that in a second. Let me explain 30-second notes to you. We just did eighth notes to the pulse. The pulse is 2, 3, 4. 1, eighth notes. Now we're going to do 16th notes. We're going to skip the triplet. 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and Now, if I want to play a measure of 30-second notes, I have to double the strokes there of 16th notes and not change the pulse. If I'm going 1, E, and my 30-second notes will be twice as fast as that to the same pulse. So I'm still counting 1 E end. So I'm going 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, back to 16. 1, E, and now 30 seconds. 2, E, and 3, E, and 16. E, and now 16. 1. And so I'm playing it twice as fast. 1, E, 2. let's get to the issue of line 3, page 34. You have a dotted eighth note. That's equal to 3/16. 1, E, and now you come to the duh. Duh. So you have the 16ths, 1, E, and the 2, E, and the 3, E, and the 4, E, and the... We understand that, Mike? 16ths, 1, E, 36. Now, if I was to play line 3 a little faster, there's still a 30-second note, but what's going to happen with that, it becomes more of a rough. That helps you. Now, there's a couple different ways to write the 30 seconds in 4/4. I try to write them longhand. If you go to 35, that's shorthand. The first measure on 35, line 1, you have 3 quarter notes. I'm counting 16ths. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the... Now I'm playing singles as opposed to doubles. We're going to get into a whole lesson like that. All right, but I apologize. That was my mistake. I did not see those 30-second notes there. And all you're doing is, if I was playing, for example, 16 straight, 1 E and 2 E and 4 E and if I go to line page 34, let's go to line 7. Now, you need to have a background here with the table of time. All right, there's the 2 books I work from. That's Joe Morello's Table of Time and Dave Stanick's Mastering the Tables of Time. An outrageous, magnificent book. Very, not difficult, but very rewarding in the end. I froze again. Jesus. Hi, Boonga. Why does it do that? Hold on. Sorry about the screen freezing. I don't know why. Okay, let's get into tonight's lesson. You both have the PDF sheets. And I don't know if this is a unique way. I never had anybody ever explain it to me, but I feel this is a full, F-O-O-L, proof way of learning how to read, basically. If I took this page, the 2 pages rather, we'll start with line 1. And I'm counting in the 16th note pulse. Now sometimes, you need to check yourself, or, your reading skills, you want to get them up to par, or you don't understand something. Here's what this is. I do line 1, I'm going to do the first downbeat, 1 E and a. You have 2 16ths, a 16th note rest, and a 16th note. Now, 4 16ths equal 1 quarter. So I'm going to do the first downbeat. On line 1, 1, E, and the. Okay. Do the second downbeat, same thing. No, it's not the same thing. 2, E, and the. You need to know the value of your notes. You're in the 16th note pulse. Okay, then we go to 3. So we have 3, 16th note, 8th note rest, and E, and then the, and then 4, E, and the. So let me play the first line nice and slow. Just what you see there, I'm presenting the reading text. So you have 1, E, and the, playing that too soon, too fast? What do I do there? Well, here's how I approach this. If I take the right side of that line, I made a straight line of 16th notes. However, I mixed up the sticking. And like I keep saying to everybody, everything really comes, the skeletons of all this stuff come from page 5, 6, and 7. Now, I don't know if this sticking pattern is on page 5, 6, and 7, okay? But it's a sticking pattern I'm going to use to explain how to read the measure we just played. So I'm going to take that measure, but what I'm going to do is make my right hand a little louder than my left, right here, like so. Okay, so I'm going to do the sticking. 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the, 4, E, and the. Now, if I eliminate the lefts to that sticking pattern, is exactly what is the first measure of reading. So if you're not certain, there it is. So I'm going to play that measure again, but this time I'm going to eliminate the lefts. 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the, 4, E, and the. Now this is something I didn't do this afternoon. If you would like to develop some coordination and some musicality. See, I'm teaching you the math, I'm teaching you the distance between the downbeats and the value of the notes. But once you get that going on, for example, if I took that measure I just showed you, 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4, here we go. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the, on the voice, on your floor tom-tom, and play it against 16ths. We'll do it over and over again. I was uncertain what I was going to do. Just another way. Okay, let's go to line number 2. Again, you have, why are these pop-ups driving me crazy? Now, there's 5 guys watching, and there's only 3 guys in the chat. Somebody's missing. So whoever it may be, please step forward and be recognized and say hello. Make new friends, ask some questions. So far, do we understand everything that I've explained, gentlemen? Yes, no, maybe, by chance. I need some response on that. Help me out, gentlemen. You understand it, Mike? Okay. Michael Lewis, Ross, do we understand all this so far? Okay, good. It's just a different way, a different approach. I mean, I have all these students, they come to me, and they get very confused of what to play, where to play it. It's a different approach. Okay, thank you, Mike, for the compliment. Okay, let's go to line number 2. And I'm going to explain downbeat by downbeat. Line number 2, you have an 8th note and then 2 16ths. Well, the 8th note equals the 2 16ths, 1 E. And then you have 2 16th notes and the. You go to the second downbeat, you have the 8th note first, which is equal to 2 16ths. So you have 2 E, then 2 16ths and the. Now in the third downbeat, you have 2 16ths and an 8th. So you have 2, 3. What happened? Something very strange is happening to this YouTube channel. Let's go to the third downbeat. The third downbeat, you have 2 16ths and an 8th. You have 3, E, and the. Takes the value. Then again, you have the eighth note on the fourth downbeat, 4, E, then 2/16. And so if I played line 2, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E, the 3 E and 4 E and. Would you like me to slow that down a little bit, gentlemen? 1 E, now boom. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Okay, now you look to the right of line 2, you see the sticking pattern. Here we go. The sticking pattern, I'm going to play the right's a little heavier, okay, than the left. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. That's the pattern. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and. Now another way to do this, if you'd like, I just showed you on line 1, playing 16ths with the left hand, bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4, left foot 2 and 4, and all the rights on the floor tom-tom, just as we locked ourselves into that. Another way you can do this, and it's a coordination development, plus you need to focus intensely on the reading. So if I play alternate strokes, 1 and 2, 3 and make the bass drum my line. 1 and 3 and 4 and. We get that, gentlemen? Again. 1 E and E. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. Now we have something entirely different. But this is the value of reading. I could take somebody reading-wise, if that's what they're going to come to me for. You could play the symphony orchestra. You could do a show on Broadway. And basically nobody really knows how to read a drum chart, write a drum chart, than a drummer. And usually when you go do a show, it's more like a guideline, okay? It's a roadmap, and there's fill-ins, and you make the hits and blah, blah, whatever, okay? Now, what I'm doing here is taking the line and orchestrate it in different ways. If you don't have the reading skills, all the books that you buy, all the methodology books that you buy are going to do you no good. You need to get a basic foundation of reading. Okay, at least the 4/4 book that I presented, or the syncopation book, or there's a couple other books out there that you can get. But you need to understand how the notes fall between the downbeat in 4/4 or 6/8 or whatever time signature you're reading in. Okay, so that's 2 different ways we could approach this. 3 different ways. We read the line. If you don't understand the line, I gave you the sticking pattern. If you eliminate the lefts and just play the rights, that's the line that you're reading. So if you have any problems with it, you can refer to that line as to where the notes should fall. And then we did the 16th notes with the left hand, and we played all what was written, with the right hand on the floor tom-tom. Now, what I'm doing here is playing 16ths on the snare, 1 E and alternating strokes. And I'm going to play the line with my bass drum. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Okay, now, you could actually, if you're really a maniac, and I mean that with respect and with a whole lot of passion, you could do the whole stick control book down, okay, line by line. For example, if I went the first line and interpreted the first line as 1 E and played a line. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Or you could do starting the left, the second line and reading it down. Or the third line, or the fourth line, interpreting each line as 16ths. That is a journey and a half. And that's some of the things that was coming up in the future lessons We're gonna take the sticking patterns from stick control book, and we're gonna do the bimbe, not the bimbe, yeah, we'll do the clave, the biome, yeah, and even the bimbe with accents. Or we'll do the grid. That's like, insane. But man, what a background you have and what control you will have. Not that you're ever gonna play that in any kind of tune. It's all about control. It gives you that toolbox, the facility to be creative with the music. You wanna play music, you have to listen to the music. The music will teach you how to play. You utilize your own tools. That's your unique way of establishing your own voice. Now, nobody's gonna teach you how to groove. I could explain to you how it falls, break it down. Where you play that is entirely up to you, where it fits musically, your interpretation. So if anybody says, I'm gonna teach you how to groove, I would run away from that, because nothing, no one can teach you how to groove except the music. You're establishing your own voice. Any questions so far, gentlemen? Yeah, I'd like to say something here too. I get a lot of email from the videos because they're being recorded when I do the YouTube. And I've been told they like my old school method, or I'm from the old school. And I don't know the difference between the old school and the new school. This is my right hand. R equals right. L equals left. That's my bass drum. Okay? You count 16ths the way we're learning them. I'll get to that, Luca, in 1 second, okay? So I don't know what old school is, and they say, well, you got your Moeller method down, great. I don't teach Moeller, so how can I have it down great? I don't know what that means, okay? Old school. Because I'm older, I might have more time behind the drum set and more time with the sticks in my hands because of my age. That doesn't mean that I am old school. It is what it is. Names have changed. Why? Because they want to confuse you, I guess. I don't know. All right, we have a question from Luca. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. He asked if I could do the same concept with 30-second notes. Of course you can. If I'm doing 16ths, 1, E, and up on top, I still can do 30 seconds on top. 1, E, and 2. I'm going to play 30 seconds on top, and I'm going to play that measure with my bass drum. Is that what you're asking me, Luca? 1, E, and play. Was that what you were asking, Luca? Does that resolve the issue? Luca, please respond. I would appreciate it. I'm using 30-second note division. Absolutely. When I teach, well, as a handout, he just responded, the right hand is playing 16th notes, and the left hand is kind of answering it, which it is. I took 30 seconds, and I eliminated the lefts. It would be 1, 3, and up. That's half the 30-second note. So when I do exercises, for example, when I do my hands, does that help you out, Mr. Luca? I hope. The whole stick control book on page, I think it's 11 and 12, 13, 10, whatever. You're doing eighth notes and 16ths. You play the cut time. No problem, Mr. Luca. Luca, this is your first time here? I have PDF sheets on this if you would like. I could enter my email. You email me, and I'll send you the PDFs for tonight's lesson. Hold on. Reloading again. I don't know what's going on with this. Okay, that's my email. Email me, I'll send you the file on this. I don't know what's going on with this YouTube channel tonight, but it keeps freezing and buffering and whatever. Okay, now let's go to line 3. Do we understand everything so far to this point, gentlemen? If not, I'll revisit again. No problem. You have a question, let's not go any further if you have questions. You understand it, Michael? How about Luca? You understand it? And the other Mike? And Ross? And whoever else is in here? Whoever's in here. I guess. Mike and Michael understand it. Ross and Luca, do you understand it? And there's somebody, a couple of the guys, come into the chat, man, say hello, make new friends. Ask me some ridiculous questions. Well, not ridiculous, questions that stump me, that if I can't help you. Please. That's what this is about. Learning. There's nobody better than anybody else. We're all on the same road, the same journey, hopefully, is to become better and to learn as much as possible. So if you have any questions, please step forward. Por favor. All right, Luca, good for you. Okay. All right, let's go to line 3. Note values. You have to know some math here. Or fractions. I used to get so confused. Line 3. 16th note, an 8th note, rest, and a 16th note. Now, I could stem these together, but I did not stem them together. I separated them so you could visualize them a little bit better. All right? I am going to write a page and break it down from the variations of drumming, which is out of print right now. And it's a very difficult page. And if you go through this page, it teaches you with the 16th note rest, the 8th note rest, the dotted 8th note rest, the dotted 8th note, so on and so forth. You'll know it, okay? So let's go to line 3. 16th note, 8th note rest, and the 16th note. In 16th note counting, 1, E, and the. Second downbeat, 16th note rest, 16th note, 16th note rest again. 2, E, and the. 3, you have 2 16ths and an 8th. So you have 3, E, and the. Then on the count of 4, just an 8th note, and you need the 8th note rest. I could have made it a quarter note, but it's an 8th note rest. 4, E, and I'll do the line a couple times, slow. Have any questions? Give me the stop sign, gentlemen. 1, E, and the. 2, E, and the. 3, E, and the. 4, E, and again. 1, E, and the. 2, E, and the. 3, E, and the. 4, E, and the. Now, if you're not certain of where they fall, again, you have the right, the next measure over, on the right side of the page, the sticking pattern. And again, I'm gonna make the rights somewhat louder than the lefts. 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and So if you're in doubt, go to the sticking pattern. Eliminate the lefts. 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4. Simple. You can't go wrong. Okay, number 4. 3/16 and a 16th note rest. 1 E and the. Second downbeat. 16th note rest, 16th note, 16th note rest, and a 16th note. 2 E and the. Third downbeat, 16th note, an 8th note rest, and a 16th note. So you have 3 E and the. Then on the 4th note, the 4th downbeat, you have 2 16ths and an 8th note rest. 4 E and the. So if you're in doubt, hit the right side, the measure after that, on the right of it. 1 E and the. 2 E and the. 3 E and the. 4 E and the. Okay, and then you play the line. That should resolve any issues of doubt, because of the way I present that, very simple. That's how I feel. Okay, you could do the same thing. I don't really have time to do all of this. I mean, I'm giving you I'm opening up a door for you to analyze your own reading. If you have questions, sure, man, ask. Okay? But you can do it with the stick control book. I mean, yeah, you can do it with the stick control book too. And you can do it with the syncopation book. There's so many different things you can do. All right? Now, if you want, we can make this linear. Let's go back to line 1. And it's a lot of fun doing it this way. It doesn't make it dry and boring or whatever. I'm presenting a line, a figure with notation. I'm breaking that down and I'm showing you how to analyze it and how to break it down, and then a few different ways to do it. We could take the first line and you could reference off the sticking pattern, as a matter of fact. Or you could even play a pattern with this, a rock pattern, or use the Chaffee book with this. But now, we take the first line. Let's go back to it and let's make it linear. Now, we all know from the other night what linear means, okay? So let's use the right and left sticking pattern from the right side of the page, of the measure, rather. We're gonna take the rights and we're gonna play all the rights with the bass drum and all the lefts on the snare drum. What I did, gentlemen? Do it slower. 1 E and the. 2 E and the. 3 E and the. 4 E and the. It's a linear line now. Now you want to take it further, you play that again, and we could use some of the cymbal patterns that Gary Chaffee presents. But that will be another lesson. So it's not that, I said the other night, or one of the other lessons, that, you go take lessons from somebody, and they're going to teach you how to read. So they take you from page 1, the front of the front to end, and it's over with. Then you go to the next book. That's pretty shallow. And that's not stimulating your creativity. So there's so much here. Just, I don't have enough time in a lifetime to practice what I want to practice. How anybody could skip practicing is beyond me. The only time I ever skipped practicing was when I was in the hospital. Oh, getting back to Luca's question about 30-second notes. I was doing singles. You could do doubles as 30-second notes and playing absolutely, Mr. Luca. You know, you never throw your books away. You might have to rebuy them because they're so old. I must have went through a dozen, maybe 2 dozen stick control books. Went to my local stationery store and laminated it. So if I dig it, I don't get upset anymore. Come on. We seem to have a problem here, gentlemen. Are you still seeing the video? Are you still hear me? Because I keep streaming for, I don't know what's going on tonight. Well, Luca, I'm in the process right now of putting together a whole series of books in reference to the stick control book. Yeah, tonight, for some reason or other, I don't know what the problem is. It might be just the internet itself. We don't usually have problems on here. I've been doing lessons on YouTube, and I've been doing lessons on my site. Yeah, I don't know why, Mike. It's just one of those nights. Yeah, me too. But we can see me, hear me. When that happens, if you can't get back on the video, just reload your computer. Okay, Ross, you're good. See, you're close by, that's why. Then we have somebody from Australia. Mike, where are you from? I know Mike, where Michael's from, Virginia. Mike, Phobos, where are you from? Is that Illinois? Okay. Before I go any further, I mean, you see all the different ways? You have any, on the PDF sheets? PA, that's right, I'm sorry. I have all the PDF sheets I sent this morning. Luca, if you want the PDFs, just email me, I'll send it to you. Do we have any questions on the PDFs themselves? If you've been looking at them, anything in particular you'd like me to go over? And yeah, Luca, you asked that question of 30-second notes. I made the presentation with single strokes. You could do it with double strokes as well. I mean, there's so much insanity that I can come up with, and I mean, I could talk a good game, but some of the stuff that I talk about is difficult. You're good? Well, I'm not gonna close it up. I would wait a few more minutes. You understand the PDF? We got Ross. How about you, Ross? Any particular line you'd like me to go over? I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. I know there's a delay. Anyway, Luca, please email me. I'll send you the PDFs. Okay? No problem. Now, I'm not going to be back until Monday. Monday, I will be streaming from the site. I'm going to keep it open until July. Then it's for members only. Okay? Luca, you know where my site is? When I put my site in here, it doesn't really take. I don't know. I'm going to try it again. Luca, I'll give you my site. All right, there's the address, okay? Now, I have a couple of students from Australia that are on the site. And there's the time zone that's insane. Like today, it's Wednesday, it's Thursday in Australia. It's now 10 minutes after 9, it's PM on a Wednesday. Luca, what time and day is it in Australia? It's gotta be sometime early morning or maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure what the time zone is there. Oh, that's not bad. No, that's not bad at all. Okay? 14 hours, isn't it a day ahead? It's 11 a.m. on Thursday. Today's Wednesday, 10 after 9 on a Wednesday evening. Good for you, Luca. Okay. Now, my lessons are Monday and Wednesday, 1 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Get on my mailing list, Luca, and I will send you the PDFs before the lesson. Okay, like I do with everybody else. With that being said, tomorrow's the last day of school for my kids, and they're gonna have a summer that's gonna drive me crazy. Anyway, we'll see everybody Monday, 1 p.m. or 8:30 p.m., and it's gonna be on my site. Unless there's a problem, then I'll email everyone what we're gonna do. If by any chance we're not on my site, we'll be on YouTube. Okay, we got that straight, gentlemen? Okay, time to say night-night. All right, thank you, gentlemen, for participating and asking questions and the hunger. You're welcome, Michael, and for learning and comparing approaches, for sharing your approaches. Good night, Mike. Okay, good morning, Luca, or good afternoon. Ross, have a good night. You have a good weekend. All right, gentlemen, have a good night.